All right. All right, everybody, welcome. Welcome. My name is Miss Sasha, and some of you know me as Anissa as well. And I am so happy to be on here this evening for me. It is 7 o'clock for me. Of course, if you're West Coast time, it is 4 o'clock for you. And so whatever time of day it is for you all, wherever you are around the globe, I hope everybody is doing great. And I'm just going to get right on into it. I am going to be doing a read aloud for you guys. So make sure that you all grab your young folks. All right. So grab your children, get your babies. Okay. And come on in and let's get ready to delve into this book. And before I go ahead and read the book, I'm going to tell you all there are three things that I wanted to mention. The first one is ABC Read is the name of the nonprofit organization that I started back in 2012. And the reason I started that nonprofit organization is to help develop and nurture a culture of literacy within the Black community. Okay. And also, I am a reading tutor, pre-K through fourth grade. The name of my tutoring business is called ABC Learn Tutoring. All right, so I help children who struggle when it comes to reading, whether it comes to fluency, when it comes to comprehension, confidence in their reading, their spelling. All right, so those are just a few of the things that I help our young folks with from pre-K through fourth grade. And also I started a podcast back in 2017. And then I had to get, some logistics going with it and try to find a better way to upload the podcast and all of that type of stuff. And so I found a way that was a lot easier, which is called Anchor. Anchor is a platform that allows you to put your podcast on very easily. So I started that, and it's called Real Reading Talk. So if you guys would please go and download that free app, all right, so that you guys can be able to listen to my podcast, Real Reading Talk. And the whole point of Real Reading Talk was to talk about the issues that we have in the Black community when it comes to low levels of literacy in a way that is no sugarcoating, no chaser, real talk. All right, so not being afraid to say what the root causes are, which is the false notion of white supremacy. I got that from Professor Smalls. For those of you who have heard of him, brother's an excellent scholar. When I heard him say that, I said, I got to start trying to use that. I don't use it all the time, but when I remember and I'm thinking about it, I try to say that the false notion of white supremacy, because ain't none supreme about that whiteness. The only one who's supreme is God. All right, so we're going to be clear on that. Okay, and so with all of that being said, I just wanted to share with you all my background in terms of why I am such a proponent of literacy. And as you see, I got my hands in literacy in those spaces. And when it comes to Black people, because I am definitely passionate about Black folks getting into reading and getting back to our roots of making reading a high value in our homes, developing that culture of literacy in our homes. That is a necessity, okay? And remember, revolution starts with education. It starts with our minds, okay? It starts with us studying and reading. The Black Panther Party, one of the things that they did, and they were a big proponent of, which was reading. They read a lot. They didn't play when it came to that. Okay, so it wasn't about just, of course, the images we saw of them holding the guns, and that's a part of it, but they were also about that education piece, that reading piece. And so with that being said, I wanted to do a quick introduction of the book that I'm going to be reading. And as you all can see, those of you all see my background, I have the Haitian flag up, okay? And the reason why I have the Haitian flag up is because I'm going to be reading a book called Hope for Haiti, all right? Or for those of you who pronounce it the correct way, especially my Haitian brothers and sisters, Haiti, all right? Please forgive me. I'm trying to, get a little better with my Creole, Haiti, all right? And I know Haiti or Haiti comes from the Taino meaning, which means flower of high land or mountainous land. And what made me think about this book in particular and I said, you know what? I'm going to read this book because of what happened to the prime minister. His name, and please forgive me for my Haitian brothers and sisters and those who speak French and Creole. I'm going to try my best to pronounce his name, Jovenel Moise or Jovenel Mose. So please forgive me. And as we know, he got assassinated in his home. All right. And his wife got injured as well. So of course he was survived by his wife and children. And the whole thing with Haiti, what we have to understand is that the Haitian people have been dealing with being targeted ever since 1804. All right. In 1804, that's when they gained their independence from the French. All right. When they beat the crap out of the French and they got their independence. All right. The first Black independent nation. All right. To fight off those shackles of the false notion of white supremacy and domination, because as we know, white supremacy is global. It's not just an American thing, it's a global thing. And so, you know, that has always been an issue for the Haitian people. Anytime you try to fight back against this bully, this beast of the white supremacists, but trust and believe you are going to be met with opposition. Okay. So, and that's something that the Haitian people have been dealing with. All right. And with that being said, you know, of course, we know in terms of like, you know, I don't know the history about in terms of the prime minister. Of course, we know, as we know, again, he got assassinated. But one of the things that I thought about, I said, it's great when you are able to get these children's books that deal with whatever current events that are happening. And I would highly advise my parents and caregivers to do that because it's an entry point into talking about current events. Okay. Again, like I said, when I heard about, you know, and read about that story in terms of the prime minister being killed, you know, and I thought I was trying to think about something in terms of doing a read aloud. And I said, let me get Hope for Haiti. I'm like, because again, this is a way in which we can start talking about the different things that are going on currently. All right. Because I'm quite sure a lot of your children, they may not even know about Haiti. They may not even know about the Haitian Revolution. They may not even heard of Jean-Jacques Dessalines or Toussaint Louverture. These are names that our children should know about. All right. Our children should know that, yes, there were people that look like them. And when I say our children, I am first talking about Black children. All right. Period. Unapologetically. So our children should know about these people. And they should know that, yes, these people, they fought back against white supremacy. They fought back against being enslaved and being dominated and being colonized. You know, because as we know, the narrative has always been put out there that Black people, we had to march for our freedom. All right. You know, we had to sing for our freedom. Okay. We had to protest for our freedom. But then when you learn about, of course, George Washington, he was a revolutionary and they were about fighting for their freedom against the British and and all. It's like, wow. But then when it comes to Black folks, we can never fight back. It's like the moment, we fight back, even amongst Black people, we have to remind each other, yes, it's okay to fight back when it comes to white supremacy. All right. We have to do that on all fronts. And I definitely have always, when I learned about that with the Haitian people and, them gaining their independence in 1804, that has always intrigued me and stuck with me. And I made sure that I talked to my children about it and I talked to my students about it. That's one of the benefits of being in my tutoring sessions, okay? Because they are going to get a dose of that Black history and that Black culture. And really, furthermore, the most important thing is that Black confidence, because you got to have confidence in order to do anything. You got to believe that it can be done. Okay. So, yes. And with this book right here, Hope for Haiti, written by a Black man, Jesse Joshua Watson. All right. And real quick about him, Jesse Joshua Watson, he lives in Port Townsend, Washington, with his wife and their 2 sons. And he has traveled extensively, all right, developing a deep passion for sharing the beauty of the world's cultures. All right. So make sure you Google him, Jesse Joshua Watson. Show you guys who he is. All right. And let's make sure we get in the habit of that when we're reading these books to our kids. Make sure that we let them know about the author and the illustrator. We got to make sure they know that. Okay. Very important, because these authors and illustrators, they do a lot of work. You got to do research, even when it's a children's book. You got to do some research when you're putting these books together, even if it's based in some type of fiction. Okay. So Hope for Haiti, with this particular book, this is dealing with the earthquake that occurred in Haiti. And that was in, I believe, in 2010. All right. All right. And one of the things he said in the author's note, I'm going to say real quick, when I was young, my father worked as a designer for the humanitarian aid organization, World Vision International. He brought home photos of kids from poverty-stricken countries, and specifically Haiti. I spent my childhood wishing there was something I could do to ease the people's suffering. As I got older, I saw how my own country was further impoverishing Haiti with its economic and political policies. Once again, then when the earthquake hit, I felt void of hope until I started seeing photos of children playing soccer amidst the chaos. Listen, playing soccer in the midst of chaos. They just had a whole earthquake. And in this, I found great hope for Haiti, that even in the most tragic of circumstances, children are resilient and will overcome. This is the hope I want to share with children everywhere. I love it. I love it, y'all. Come on, y'all. Let's get into this book. Let's get into this book. When the earth shook and took away my neighborhood, I thought I would never be happy again. Wailing filled my ears. Dust filled my nose. Tears filled my eyes. I helped my mother build a new home in the soccer stadium. 1 piece of tin, 6 posts, 3 sheets. Many people have come here to make shelters. Some kids wander around lost or wait in line for water. I am too small to compete for the food that the blue hats are passing out. So I sit and watch strangers speaking different languages quickly pass boxes toward the front of the line. In my new neighborhood, people lie in the shade of tarps, many of them injured. When I see a girl kicking a ball made of rags, I remember how we used to be happy playing before the quake. Can I play? I asked. Sure, she says. We juggle the ball trying to keep it off the ground. Other kids come running to join us. Now we have a game. I forget about my hunger as I dribble the ball through 2 defenders and pass it to a teammate. We keep the ball moving quickly between us like a dance. I shoot the ball between 2 piles of sandals and jump into the arms of my teammates, like I've seen them do on TV. Both teams burst into laughter until an old woman shushes as she passes. This is no time to laugh, she scolds. There is too much sadness here. As she walks away, a man nearby says, don't worry, children. It's not your fault. She has much to mourn, and she does not understand the power of this game. The man grins and starts dribbling our ball. So any of you been to a game in this stadium? Several children nod. I smile and say, my father took me to a match here. We had a picnic with green papaya salad, and he bought me a soda. Seeing those players made me want to be a soccer star when I grow up. I remember watching Mano Sanan, Haiti's most famous soccer player, score goals on this very field, the man says. He was just a city kid like you, no different. Well, maybe Haiti used to be good, but Brazil is the best team in the world now, declares a boy. We can't win anymore. Just look at our stadium. The man picks up our rag ball and tries juggling it on his knees. The rags are soaked with mud and keep slipping from the rubber bands that hold them together. Listen, I must get back to help the others, he says. But before I go, I would like to give you kids something. He ducks into his shelter. When he comes back out, he is carrying a ball, a real soccer ball. He hands it to me and turns to go. It is an old ball, but in perfect condition. There's a signature written on the ball, but I can't read it. A boy looks closely. It says Mano Sanan. Oh. All of the kids gather close to see. Wait, I call. You can't give this ball away. It's signed by Mano. We can let go of the past, the man tells us. Right now, we need to think about the future. And the future is you. I put my arms around the man, and the other kids all swarm him with hugs. Thank you, mister, we all say. Don't thank me, children, he says. Thank you. Thank you for reminding me why there is hope for Haiti. We return to our game, playing better than ever. I pass the ball to my teammate, who traps it with his chest, then flicks it over the head of a defender. As I run for the ball, I am no longer barefoot and wearing torn shorts. I am wearing the Haitian uniform and the stadium is packed with fans screaming out my name. I beat the defender to the ball, spin around and glance at the net with the Brazilian team racing toward me. I take one more step. Shoot and oh, what y'all think coming next? Shoot and what? What's coming next? What's coming next? You got it. That's right. Goal. That's right, baby. Goal. I love it. I love it. Hope for Haiti. Hope for Haiti. Oh my goodness. Haiti. I love trying to say Haiti. Hard for me to say it, but I love trying to say it anyway. Right there, right? Resilience, hope, never giving up. Okay? Making do with what you have. These are some of the themes in the book, right? That you all can talk about with your children. And remember the part when the old woman, when she scolded the kids for laughing and playing? And I like how the man tried to get them to understand why she came like that. But I also want us to understand too, as for those who are our elders, and understanding that we have to show our children resilience and happiness, even through the rough and tough times. Because unfortunately, sometimes you'll have older people, because they've had so many rough and tumultuous and traumatic times, they tend to grow old and bitter instead of getting older and wiser and hopeful and supportive. And so when you are in that position of being an elder, embrace that position with pride and with dignity and with love and mercy. So when you see our young people and they are trying to still have fun in spite of, they're trying to move on and they're trying to play and they're trying to do things to keep them occupied and not get caught up in the craziness that's going around them, make sure you support them. Try your best not to scold them and get upset because they are, being a little bit extra playful, or rambunctious, or whatever the case may be, especially again, when they are dealing with some craziness around them. So that's definitely a lesson that I took in reading this book again. So again, like I said, Hope for Haiti, what inspired me to read this book was because of what had happened to his name, Jovenel Moise, getting assassinated and his wife getting injured as well. And we have to remember Haiti and remember the resilience of our Haitian brothers and sisters. And I hope this is an entry point for all of you to go and do more research when it comes to Haiti and talk about Haiti and the Haitian Revolution. And those names I mentioned before, Jean-Jacques Dessalines and Toussaint Louverture. Look up those names to study and find out about these phenomenal people. All right. So with that being said, I hope you all enjoyed that read aloud. Jesse Joshua Watson, don't forget his name. He is the one who wrote this book. And it looks as though he illustrated it as well. When I don't see the illustrator's name, we assume that he was the one who illustrated as well as has written the book. Make sure that you share this video. Make sure you give it some likes. And make sure that you continue to please keep reading for at least 30 minutes a day. All right, y'all. Take care. Peace.